How to explain in your tongue. It is an artifact from outside time. It does not exist, but it has always existed. They are the Kell, Elder Scrolls as you name them. They have often been used for prophecy. Yes, your prophecy comes from an Elder Scroll, but this is only a small part of their power.
Hey, welcome back. And today we are talking about the actual Elder Scrolls from the Elder Scrolls, and the mysterious priests who dedicate their lives to interpreting them. What I absolutely love about the actual Elder Scrolls is that there isn't really a whole lot of concrete evidence around what they are, just hearsay and speculation from in-game sources. What is known is that they archive all possible outcomes from the past, present, and future. That's why I personally really like the theory that the Elder Scrolls are supposed to represent physical copies of the game. So your hero of Kvatch can be a proud barbarian Nord, while my version can be a scholar high elf, and someone else can use mods to make their hero Thomas the fucking Tank Engine. But according to the Elder Scrolls, all versions are canon, all versions are equally valid. There isn't really a whole lot of lore books in Oblivion Remaster that really go into the scrolls, except for the ones that you find going along the Thieves Guild quest. This is because this is the first time in the whole series where an Elder Scroll is actually seen and used in-game. The first one is a short excerpt from Divining the Elder Scrolls, which you find at the end of the quest Adarji's Heirloom.
Of night, the Elder Scrolls themselves pierce the veil. They offer a view of the flux of time itself. The prophet who reads the scrolls sees one version of what might be. Another prophet might have a different vision with equal veracity. The price for insight is the reader's sight. He is struck blind and...
The second being a book that you are meant to steal for the Grey Fox called Lost Histories of Tamriel.
In an earlier volume, I discussed the vagaries and influences of the Adric prophecies, more commonly known as the Elder Scrolls. Readers wanting to know the history behind the highly inappropriate appellation Adric can refer to chapters 23 through 27 of my previous work for a full explanation, as well as the incompetencies of my good comrade Theron in Mournhold, who named them thus. The influences of the archivally historic Elder Scrolls cannot be understated. Once a prophecy contained in an Elder Scroll is enacted in Tamriel, the text of the parchment becomes fixed. All readers ingest the same divine message. It becomes a historical document, declaring the unequivocal truth of a past event. Scholars, even those as dim-witted as Theron of Mournhold, cannot argue with the bias of the writer, like he has with my earlier works. Not even magic can affect the words written upon those ancient pages.
The final one is in the Temple of the Ancestor Moths, right here in the center of the temple. You go here when asked by the Grey Fox to steal Sevilla's stone. This book goes into the daily trials of the Order that are tasked with reading the scrolls.
To be read by all novitiates of the temple. The Order of the Ancestor Moth is as ancient as it is noble. We nurture and celebrate our beloved ancestors, whose spirits are manifest in the Ancestor Moths. Each moth carries the vagiron of the ancestors' spirits. Loosely translated as the will to peace, the vagiron can be sung into the silk produced by the ancestor moths. When the silk is in turn spun into cloth and embroidered with the genealogy of the correct ancestor, clothing of wondrous power can be made. Adepts in our order are gifted with prescient powers. The wisdom of the ancestors can sing the future into the present. For this reason, our order and our order alone has been given the privilege to interpret the Elder Scrolls. These writings exceed even the gods, both Aedra and Daedra. Such insight into the inner fabric of reality comes at a price. Each reading of the Elder Scrolls is more profound than the last. Each leaves the priest blind for longer and longer periods of time. Finally, the last reading achieves a nearly sublime understanding of that scroll's contents, but the priest is left permanently blinded to the light of his world. No longer can he read the scrolls. This monastery is dedicated to the service of those noble members of our order. They now live out their lives with the ancestor moths that they so love. Their underground immenses are well suited to the moths. They raise and nurture the fragile creatures, singing to them constantly. They harvest the silk and spin it into bolts of cloth. They weave the cloth, embroidering it with the genealogies and history of the ancestors that spun the silk. This is their new life. As they tend to the ancestor moths, so we tend the blind monks. While they toil in the dark, we serve in the light. They need food and water. We provide. They need tools and furniture. We provide. They need secrecy and anonymity. We provide. They need purveyors to sell the fruits of their labors. We provide. At one time, we also provided protection. Many generations ago, Gudrun came to our temple. Newly blinded by visions of what was to be, she brought with her new teachings. The visions of the ancestors foresaw the need of the monks to defend themselves. They train and practice the teachings of Gudrun constantly. They are masters of the sword of no sword, the axes of no axe. As a novitiate, you will learn the teachings of Gudrun. You will learn the way of the peaceful fist. You will learn to serve the blind monks. You will learn to provide. In time, you may attain the peace and insight of the ancestor moths.
Hey, thanks for watching that. I've been getting a whole lot of loves in the YouTube shorts that I've been making for these, so I just want to say right off the bat, thank you for that. That's super cool and super awesome of you. If you would like to see anything in particular from the wonderful world of the Elder Scrolls to be read aloud, let me know in the comments. I want to plan to do a big spoopy thing, a big spoopy thing for October. So any scary stories, any weird, dark, twisted lore that you find while exploring Oblivion, let me know, and I will do it. That's really all I gotta say. So, keep reading the Elder Scrolls.